I am an entertainment junkie. I've rarely met a show or a movie that I don't like. I have one of the most eclectic DVRs that I know of. But one of the very first things I always watch as soon as it hits my DVR is Antiques Roadshow on PBS. I love everything about Antiques Roadshow. I love that junk can almost instantly be transformed into a jewel, trash into treasure, all based on a single appraisal. I cry when someone finds out their dirty old blanket is really $1 million Chiefs blanket. And I celebrate when the ring somebody thought was costume jewelry is the real deal. My favorite appraisals are the ones when a person has dug something out of the trash or picked it up at a thrift store or yard sale. Take the card table Claire Beckman scooped up at a garage sale. One weekend morning, Claire woke up early to hunt for a small table for her entryway. She found the perfect table, but there was only one problem. The price tag had $30 on it, and Claire only had $25. After working a sweet deal, she scooped up her $25 table and took it home. Since it was dirty and a moldy mess, she started gently scrubbing it down with some linseed oil and a soft towel. Once it was cleaned, she set it in her entryway for 30 years. Just a worthless table that was worth at least $25 to Claire. Have you ever wondered if you matter? How much you are worth? Have you ever felt like a grungy cast-off or felt like a $30 piece of junk? Have you ever felt too banged up, too messed up, too beat up to have any value? I know I have. But there are two things that I have learned watching Antiques Roadshow that have convinced me of our value. First, the maker matters. When Claire hauled her little table down to Antiques Roadshow when it rolled into town, they discovered a partially deteriorated label on the underside of the tabletop. You could still make out that the maker was John Seymour and Sons of Boston in 1794. 1794. No wonder that table was a dirty, moldy mess. Who would it be after a 200-plus year lifetime? Pointing out the meticulous construction, the original finish, the beautiful inlay work, the appraiser happily proclaimed the table would be worth between $200,000 and $225,000 on the open market. Claire's $25 garage sale table was actually a $225,000 treasure. Amazing. Why? Because the maker mattered. And you and I have a maker that is so much better than John Seymour and Son. We have the best craftsmen in the universe. We were made by God. Look at Isaiah 64, starting in verse 6. It says, "We are all infected and impure with sin. When we display our righteous deeds, they are nothing but filthy rags. We are banged up, messed up, and beat up, and we may feel worthless, but we are actually valuable." And then verse 8 says, and yet, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay, and you are the potter. We are all formed by your hand. The maker of the universe crafted you. The one who had the creative vision to form the mountains and the valleys, the rivers and the canyons, the oceans and the plains, creatively formed you as well. He chose the color of your eyes, the pigment of your skin, the curl of your hair, or lack thereof. His fingerprints are all over you. His signature is on your soul. You have value because your maker matters. The second lesson from Antiques Roadshow is value is determined by what someone is willing to actually pay. Just because Claire's table had an appraisal of $200,000 doesn't mean a single thing unless someone is actually willing to pay that exorbitant price for a tiny yard sale table. Following her Antiques Roadshow appearance, the retired school teacher took a chance on an auction. She sold it at the Sotheby's annual Important Americana Furniture and Folk Art Sale, and sell it she did for a whopping $541,500. The value was set because someone was willing to pay a cool $500,000 plus for that table. And someone was willing to pay a great price for you too. Someone was willing to pay the ultimate price for you. You are so valuable to Jesus that according to Philippians 2, he gave up his divine privileges. He took on the humble position as a slave and was born as a human being. And when he appeared in his human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. He gave up his divine privileges as the Son of God, humbled himself, and died an excruciating death. You are so valuable that he was mocked and beaten and nailed to a cross. You are so valuable that he defeated the grave so that you could be reconciled with the Father. That's the value that you hold. Jesus deemed you extremely valuable because he was willing to pay the price for you. You matter. Your maker matters. Your value is determined by the great price Jesus was willing to pay. You are so valuable to God.